This is a short overview of the talk about effective science writing that I've been giving and developing since 1993 to doctors and scientists around the country. The goal is to give some strategies to make your work in writing scientific manuscripts more effective and efficient, so as to maximize your chance for ultimate publication, ideally on the first submission, or, much more realistically, after peer review and revision and resubmission. When I was a grad student in the Iowa Writers Workshop, my teacher, the poet Jorie Graham, talked about how authors authorize their writing, or in the case of science writing, to justify their claims. To authorize your writing, you must do the work of an author, authorize. You authorize your writing by accounting for the flow of information through the different sections of the body of the manuscript. The good news is that there are established formats for most of the articles you'll write in the scientific literature. These formats have evolved and are designed to emphasize the flow of reasoning. This is good news for writers in science and medicine. You have established formats to use to guide the structure of your writing. This brings up the important skill of deconstructing model articles, ideally those published in your target journal. To deconstruct an article, you would use an example of the type of article you are writing and make an outline on the paragraph level that identifies the purpose of each paragraph. Then you use that general outline to design the overall structure, format of your manuscript. You can even do this on the sentence level within each paragraph. Use the available literature to inform the structure of your writing. A big part of my seminar on writing is to talk about the importance of attending to the writing process. I learned this especially from William Zinsser, author of many books, including two in particular on writing Well and Writing to Learn. Zinsser talks about how many people look at writing as something that you do after the thinking is done, as a means to disseminate the information. Good writers, however, recognize that you can use writing, in Zinsser's words, as a tool for thinking. Writing is a tool for thinking. I honestly only had 4 hours with William Zinsser in person, and my favorite quote from him during that session is, "Take care of the process and the product will take care of itself." Writing is rewriting. Writing is 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. If you go into the writing process knowing that it's going to take at least 4 or 5 revisions before it even starts to look like something worthy of publication, then it will be a lot easier to get started and take advantage of the process to come up with better ideas, more novel ideas, ideas that editors and reviewers and readers will be interested in. In science writing, how many interpretations do you want your readers to get from something you've written? Just one. How many times do you want your reader to read that sentence or paragraph to get that single idea? Just once. And how many times do you find yourself having to reread a sentence or paragraph in that article or textbook because you simply did not understand? Too many times. So our goal is to write in such a way so that the reader gets a single interpretation that is available the first time through, to maximize understanding. This, according to George Gopen, head of the writing program at Duke, is impossible. The best that an author can do, Gopen says, is to make available to the reader the interpretation that the author wants the reader to come away with. You can read this in the article he wrote with Judith Swan called "The Science of Scientific Writing." Just Google those words and you'll get right to it. Gopen says that misunderstanding in writing is 85% due to structural issues and only 15% due to contextual issues. This is why it's important to review the natural positions of emphasis in the paragraph and in the sentence. In American English, the natural position of emphasis in the sentence is the second half of the sentence. This is the last information left with the reader. This is the last information that comes before the period. This is the moment of closure of the sentence. Americans are looking for closure. So according to Gopen, the start of the sentence, the subject, is the topic position. This is where you would put the old, backward-looking information so that the reader has a starting point. Put the action in the verb, and in the last half of the sentence, the natural position of emphasis, you're best advised to put the more important information, the new information. In the paragraph, the natural position of emphasis is the first sentence, the topic sentence, as our teachers taught us. The second most natural position of emphasis in the paragraph is the last sentence, typically a summary sentence, or one that conveys the overall significance. This is the theory of primacy and immediacy. Do not bury important information in the middle of your paragraphs. Keep your paragraph length manageable. Reading is, for the most part, a passive activity. You have no guarantee that your reader is thinking, "Why is this important?" after each sentence. A good author will be sure to convey the importance, the significance, the relevance of the information at each reasonable opportunity. This is what I first learned as the feature-benefit model. For each fact that you want the reader to remember, be sure to attach a benefit to it, the significance, the importance, the relevance, the take-home message. In his great book, How to Write and Publish Papers in the Medical Sciences, Edward Huth calls this the "so what" test and the "who cares" test. We have barely scratched the surface. I encourage you to attend my seminars so that we can linger in these concepts and explore them more closely. But until then, here's a quick summary of important concepts for effective and efficient science writing. Using writing as a tool for thinking. Attending to structure, to authorize your writing. Deconstructing and modeling. Attending to the process. Awareness and use of the natural positions of emphasis. Use of figures and tables. Employing the feature-benefit model. All of these promote a unity of message and reader understanding and retention.